What's going on, guys? How was your week? Before we get too mired down in the details, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Embattled Congressman Tony Gonzalez is announcing that he will not seek re-election this November.
So on March 3rd, the state of Texas held its primary election, where I took Tony Gonzalez to what was essentially a rematch. A rematch of the last election where he narrowly defeated me in a runoff by 400 votes. This time, though, we beat him. Neither one of us got over 50% of the vote, though, so this was destined to go into a runoff election like it did last time. But I do want to point out that our performance in the first stage, the first primary, our performance was almost double of what it was last time. But again, none of that really matters if nobody achieves over 50%, because if nobody gets over 50, then the person that came in first and second place then go into a runoff election.
Gonzalez was forced into a May runoff against Brandon Herrera.
Or at least, that's what was going to happen. Because 2 days after the election, faced with mounting criticisms as well as having to face his first ever defeat in his political career, Tony posted this, declaring that he was dropping out of the race.
We have late breaking news just into the KSAT newsroom. We have just learned that Congressman Tony Gonzalez will not seek re-election. He is dropping out of the runoff race.
So, we did it, boys. Tony's career is coming to a close, and I am now the GOP nominee for Texas District 23. Now, there's probably a lot of missing context here, and of course, we still have the fight against the Democrats in November, so we can't get complacent now. But I did want to make this video for you, my audience, who has been here for me through thick and thin. So with that, let's do a quick recap. All the way back in 2023, at the Young Americans for Liberty convention, I announced that I was taking a major step, that I was throwing my hat into the ring to run against my congressman, Tony Gonzalez, to try to get him out of office. Now, my problems with Tony started when I learned that as a Republican, he was voting for Democrat-led gun control. But I quickly learned of his other votes, against securing the border, against the Constitution, and how many millions of dollars he was taking from special interests. Ultimately, I was worried that if I didn't get involved, my congressman would continue to vote and act this way with no consequences. So I looked at our Republican primary and I jumped into the ring, something I have some experience with.
Here in a sec. Oh, nice jab. And down he goes.
I had no political experience, no grassroots team, at least in the beginning. We had to earn every single vote across the district. And even back then, we did succeed in our goal of dragging Tony below 50%, which put me in a one-on-one race against him. In this primary, they spent millions of dollars slandering me as a neo-Nazi. That's coming back. A veteran hater, literally anything they could do to defame my character, instead of doing the one thing that I wanted to do, which is talk about the issues. And despite being outspent, something like 10-1 against one of the best funded, best entrenched Republican incumbents in the entire state of Texas, we only lost by a heartbreaking 407 votes. And as much as it sucks to lose, I was happy going back to my day job, running my businesses, making shitty videos for you all. I was living the dream. But because Tony continued to fail the district, because he continued to take that shady money, because he continued to refuse to take accountability, amongst a few other things that we'll get to here in a second, I decided to put my dream life aside momentarily again to run against him and to win once and for all. So last year at the Gun Owners of America Goals Convention, I announced that I was jumping back in for a rematch. I'm here to announce that I am running for Congress in District 23 to finish what I started. The comparison that I made that, aged like fine wine, was to Rocky 2. Because in Rocky 1, Rocky doesn't actually win against Apollo Creed. It was their rematch in Rocky 2 when the rough around the edges kid off the street finally beats the current champ. And since that day in August, we have been all over the district, talking to voters, doing debates, doing all the things that Tony Gonzalez failed to do. This is where you come in the picture. You guys were amazing through all this. You really were. You guys were incredibly supportive when I had to take a little bit of time off from time to time between videos to, handle campaign stuff. We did multiple giveaways for guns, for trips to range days, and basically you guys helped us fundraise and push through the millions of dollars that the big guns of the establishment threw at us. All while not taking money from the huge DC special interests, the big super PACs, none of that. It was just you and I. I mean, myself personally, I think I threw just over $500,000 of my own money into this race, which, be honest with you, really painful to do. I did not just have that laying around, but I thought it was really important to show you that I was willing to put my money where my mouth is. After all, how can I ask you to help me if I'm not willing to make sacrifices of my own and pull my own weight? So while it was painful, it was enough. We won. But speaking of recovering from that, big thanks to PDS Debt for sponsoring this video. It's now clear more than ever that 2026 is a fresh start, but with the same system. The banks win and you pay. Fees and calls piling up monthly, unless you fight back. PDS Debt has already helped hundreds of thousands fight back and put money back in their own pocket, where it belongs. Whether you're struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS Debt has solutions to get you out of debt. And there's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save money, pay off your debt faster, and put that money right where it belongs. They're A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews. Why? Well, as I just said, PDS Debt has helped hundreds of thousands get out of debt. It's still a pretty new year, and it could be a new you, one that isn't in debt. So take 30 seconds and get your personalized debt analysis at pdsdebt.com/bh. That's pdsdebt.com/bh. pdsdebt.com/bh. Thank you to PDS for sponsoring the video. We'd also like to thank the Sonoran Desert Institute for continuing to sponsor the channel. If you've ever wanted to get your start in gunsmithing or weapons technology, consider giving them a look down using the links in the description and in the pinned comment, sdi.edu. We appreciate them for supporting the channel. Back to the video. So as of the beginning of the year, things were already looking pretty good for us. The grassroots enthusiasm was there. I mean, every event that we were doing either had as many people as last time, or several of them had several times the amount of people. People were showing up, hearing our message, and were excited to figure out how they could get involved in helping make this district a better place. We were in a good position to take Tony head on. At the very least, it was going to another runoff, but we knew we were going to outperform the way we did last time. Even the polling that we had at the time had us up by a couple of points, which is a really big deal against an incumbent. But then, the bombshell dropped. After months of rumors and speculation, it had come to light that Tony Gonzalez was having an affair with a staffer, or more accurately, a regional director working for him. Former staffers had come forward with testimony saying that Tony Gonzalez, a married father of 6, had pressured a subordinate, a married subordinate, into a sexual relationship, one that led to the wrecking of her home and eventually to her suicide via self-immolation. Rumors that we had known since shortly after it happened, September 13th of last year, but all things that Tony Gonzalez ran from media about.
Is there any response you have to that?
We're here at Fort Sam. We're here at Fort Sam here at the ceremony. Please have some respect. Thank
I understand, but veterans fought for my right to ask you questions.
Hey, how are you doing?
And then things Tony later lied about and denied.
Gonzalez addressed her death and denied reports that they were having an affair.
The rumors are completely untruthful. I also say, I don't know exactly what happened.
From talking to his prior staffers, these were rumors that I knew were true for months. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I knew about Tony Gonzalez having multiple affairs since last cycle in 2024. I never attacked him on those because I thought it was important to attack only on the issues. I have only ever run ads against Tony on policy because I think that that's what matters. That's what our district needs. We need somebody who's policy focused. Meanwhile, he only ever ran personal smears on me. But this was a bridge too far. Now a young woman is dead. He was the subject of a House ethics investigation over breaking House rules from pressuring a subordinate into a sexual relationship. And on top of it, the cardinal sin, in my opinion, he lied about it. He lied to the voters, he lied to the media, and even beyond that, he called me a liar for telling the truth. I can stomach a lot of things, but you do not defame my name, you do not call me a liar, especially when both of us know that I'm telling the truth. So that renewed a passion for this. Not only at this point was Tony a bad congressman, but at this point, he was a wicked man who needed to be removed. And
It became personal with me.
And so we did events in every single county in the district, talking to the voters, hearing their issues, doing the debates. The debates that I might add, Tony never showed up to, predictably.
Tonight I have a debate for Texas's 23rd congressional district, where I'm already predicting Tony will not show up to this debate because he's a baby back bitch coward.
But all of this was to defeat the odds and do the thing that people told me was impossible for somebody like me to do from the start. Defeating a sitting congressman, especially without taking big DC money or changing what I believe. But on March 3rd, we did just that. This was the first political loss of Tony Gonzalez's career. And now, of course, when the affair story broke and it was very clear that Tony was lying and running away from it, I mean, it was very clear.
I am not going to resign. I work every day. I work every day for the people of Texas.
But are those text messages, are they accurate? Are those real text messages?
I am not going to resign. I'm not going to resign.
The White House, House leadership, and Tony Gonzalez himself had all said that they were going to let the voters of Texas decide what to do about Tony. Well, they did. He not only failed to clinch the nomination, but he lost to, well, us. So I was prepared to go into a runoff. It's not my first rodeo. It is, in fact, my second rodeo. So with Tuesday night being the election night, on Wednesday morning, we were already having meetings about what we needed to do and the things we needed to put in place to take this across the finish line and beat him once and for all. Or so we thought, because Wednesday night, Tony finally came clean. He at least admitted to lying about the affair.
Was there a relationship with this young lady who was working in your office?
You know, very, very direct, Pags. I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment.
While also throwing shade at me and Regina's husband. So again, kind of like a little bit of a lack of accountability there, but at least he admitted to lying about the affair part. The real thing that bothered me about this was not only the counterattacks against other people, but just the genuine lack of remorse, especially using the idea that God has already forgiven him, so you should too.
I've asked God to forgive me, which he has, and my faith is as strong as ever.
Look, I get the idea of asking God for forgiveness, but I didn't know that this was a two-way radio. I didn't know that when you become Congressman of District 23, the Ark of the Covenant is one of the perks. But anyway, yes, he goes on Joe Pags, a friend of ours, we've been on his show before, and essentially confesses that all of the things that he accused me and several others of lying about or contorting or what have you has actually been correct the entire time, and he's been trying to save his own ass. It did not work. He kind of rolled a 2 on that one. The very next morning, Speaker Johnson and the rest of House leadership, including the NRCC, all got together and asked him to step down. Or at least in this sense, suspend his campaign, stop seeking re-election. This is after about a week or so of several other congressmen and women asking him to withdraw as well.
What do you say to Tony Gonzalez, who says he's not going to resign?
I think he needs to go. That's the line. Harassing an employee, a male, harassing a female employee, I just can't stomach it, dude. I got a wife and a daughter. It needs to go.
And that very same night, only 2 days after election night, Tony Gonzalez announced he was withdrawing his candidacy from District 23. With this being a runoff between only me and Tony Gonzalez, that left yours truly as the GOP nominee for this district. And after a brief moment of celebration, followed by a slightly longer panic attack, I then narrowed in my focus on bringing the party back together here in District 23, and then taking the fight to the Democrats in November, and ultimately doing the job that I came here to do, which is be the best congressman I possibly can for the district that I live in. It's an immense responsibility, one that should be taken seriously, and I accept. Now, that doesn't mean we can't still have some fun in the meantime when I'm not doing my other job, but it is one that should be taken seriously, and I hope you guys accept that as well. So if you think that me winning the nomination or going into Congress eventually would mean the end of this right here, I wouldn't count on it. But again, we can't get complacent, and we do need to redouble our efforts and refocus to the fight coming up in November, where I will be taking on my Democratic challenger in the general election. It's a very conservative district. I do have that in my favor, but it's going to be a tumultuous midterm. So, I've got a philosophy, always fight like you're behind. The job isn't done, but from day one, we've wanted to take out and just unseat an anti-gun rhino, somebody who voted against the interest of the district, of his people, somebody who was out for himself, and he let us suffer for it. And now, no matter what happens going forward, we will always be able to say that we were successful in that, and that we are the reason Tony Gonzalez is out of a job. We can't let off the gas, we can't let off the pressure now, but we can say that that's kind of cool. But if you'd like to help us out and help take the fight to the Democratic challenger in November, you can go to the links in the description and in the pinned comment, BrandonHerreraForCongress.com. Any donation now will immediately be added to the next giveaway that we do. $5 per entry, so $5 is 1, $10 is 2, $100 is 20. And let's keep this momentum up, because I'm very much looking forward to see what kind of trouble we can get in DC. The good kind of trouble, not like the insider trading, Little St. James Island kind of, what they normally do. Although apparently a lot of DC's okay with that. Anyways, I know that I've been kind of quiet for a few days. As it turns out, I've had a lot of things going on, a lot of phone calls to make, a lot of meetings to have. But we're on to the next step. And I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart. I would not have been able to make it this far without you. So I wanted to take this time aside. I literally have to get on a plane in a couple of hours. More meetings, more things to come. But I needed to take this time to say thank you. This is only the beginning. And trust me, the Democratic slander machine is already going full panic mode against me, which has actually been very funny to see. So maybe we'll do a video refuting some of that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's been laughable thus far. But for now, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate everything that you've done and everything we've been able to accomplish together. And with that, my fellow Americans, I will see you in the next video. Thanks.
Fuel is my obsession to make the perfect weapon. Like Rasputin's rise to the top. But je can stop.